Hello, this is a quick demonstration walking through the Central Student Interest Program application. The application link can be found on the main Central Student Interest Program website, www.tdsb.on.ca/CSIP. The application link will become available sometime on the day of November the 4th, 2024, and it will remain open, and all submissions must be received by 4 p.m. on November the 22nd, 2022. When you click on the link for the application, it will ask you to create an account, or if you already have submitted an out-of-area Central Student Interest Program or online registration form or start of year forms, you already have an account. So you can simply sign in using your password and continue through to the application. If this is your first time completing an online application or submitting a form in this way, you'll need to create an account where you'll provide a phone number, an email address, create some security passwords to help you with the forgot password function, and also then do a verification that will go to your email address. But once you go through, you'll be taken to the application where you'll have an opportunity to add the student that you're going to be completing the application for. In this account, you can manage more than one student. So if you have multiple children or you're completing applications for different members of your family, that can all be done within one parent guardian account. So I'm going to complete my information for my student, and I'm going to, I've already, let's go with this. And I'm going to start from scratch. Sorry, I use this to do several application submissions. I'm just going to make this size a little bit smaller. Okay, so we're in the application and there's some important information. So please do take a few minutes to read through the information. Again, make sure that you've reviewed your programs prior to completing the application. It's not first come, first serve in terms of how you submit the application. So please take the time to make sure that you've done the research to find the best fit for your child before submitting the application with your child. And that's important, again, that your child is interested and passionate about applying to this program because you're looking to have them attend a school other than the school they're currently attending for a program that hopefully is going to be meeting their needs and interests. One of the aspects of the application is that each student is to create an expression of interest. And again, it must be generated by the student, not by the parent guardian, some way that your child is demonstrating their interest in participating in this type of programming. There is a website off of that main website about expressions of interest that gives some parameters and also has some sample expressions of interest from last year, just to give you an idea of what you might want to do. Okay. Again, applicants must meet the eligibility requirement. So either they're already registered at a TDSB school, that you must, if they're not currently a TDSB student, they must be eligible to register at the TDSB, meaning that the parent guardian must be residing within the province of Ontario. The child must have residency, citizenship, or eligible immigration status. They must be age appropriate for the grade to which they're applying. And if they are a fee-paying student or an international student, they must be currently registered at a TDSB school. Those deadlines and timelines that I mentioned earlier are listed here, and we're going to go through the application. There's a chance to look at the summary at the end. Once the form is submitted, though, it has been submitted. It's not one that you can re-edit. Once you submit, you'll have an opportunity to save or print a copy of your application for your own records. And a very important point is that after you hit submit, you will receive a confirmation email. Please ensure that you receive this confirmation email. This is how the system is going to communicate to you throughout this process. Offers of acceptance will be sent from this same email address. If you're not receiving it, please make sure you check your spam and your junk email. If you still cannot find it and give it permission to come to your inbox, please contact your current school if you're a TDSB student, or non-TDSB families can contact our general email address to make sure that you entered your email address in correctly in the application. So again, this is an important step to make sure that you're receiving all of our future communication. So now we look at the eligibility criteria. So we may have that a student is currently a TDSB student. They're asked to provide their student number. And again, it's referring to the child's first name, their grade, and their current school. Once that's completed, that meets the eligibility. If the student is not currently attending a TDSB school, is the student attending a school in Ontario? Yes. And are they a fee-paying or international student? And as I mentioned, if they're not attending a TDSB school, they're not eligible to continue. If they're not an international or fee-paying student, we ask for the name in this name of the school and their current grade, and then they can proceed. So let's go through that they are. If you're not sure of your student number or child's student number, please contact your current school. And I'm just going to randomly pick a school here. So they're in grade 8, so we're applying for grade 9. So again, this is their current grade. It should be noted that you can save your work. So if you go up into the button in the top right corner for account, you can save your work and then come back. So going to clicking on the link again, going to the dashboard, you can continue an application that you have already begun, and that's all housed in the dashboard. Okay. So again, it's remembered the information that I put in when I added my child to my account, testers with their birth date, indicating the student's gender. You're then providing your primary home address. So this is again where the applicant's parent or guardian is currently residing. Please note that if you own a property in Toronto, but it currently is not, you're not living there, you have tenants, you may not use this address as a claim of Toronto residency. You must apply based on the current address in which you live. Again, if you are a current TDSB student, please make sure that the school does have this address on record, because it will be matched and verified by your current school. So if you've moved and not informed your school, please make sure right away that you are letting them know about this change. Okay, so then you're going to enter in your address into the system, and they're telling you the template that you should be using. So again, making sure that you have a space in your postal code, address. Is this a house with, sorry, does this have apartments? So is it a multi-tenant building? I'm saying no. And then you must validate the address to make sure that it is actually a recognized address, and continue. We then get to the point of the application where you are, excuse me, completing your choices for the program. So again, applicants may apply to one primary program, either program or school. Applicants may also include one alternate program. Again, the alternates, you don't have to apply for an alternate. An alternate will only be considered after all the primary applications from Toronto have been considered. On the CSIP program websites, it does show last year's admission rates at the entry grade. So what percentage of primary applicants were offered seats. So that can help to inform you if you're looking to make an alternate choice. Choosing an alternate choice that last year was not able to satisfy all primary applicants, likely this year they will not be able to get to alternate choices. So again, please use that information in making your choices. In programs where interest exceeds the number of seats available, there will be a random selection process, and there are some priorities that we'll get to as we go through the application. Again, once the random selection process has been run, you'll be informed by email in that same fashion as the confirmation submission email as to whether or not your child has been accepted and seated, or whether their position is on a wait list. If you're submitting both a primary and an alternate choice, please note that if you are seated in your primary program, the child will not be considered for their alternate. And again, applicants from outside of the city of Toronto will only be considered after all Toronto applicants have been considered for both their primary and their alternate choices. So again, using that data from last year's applications will help folks from outside the city of Toronto who may be looking to apply. So you'll recall that the child tester who's filling in this application is currently in grade 8. So that means that they're looking to enroll in grade 9 next year. And then you can go through and choose the type of program that you're interested in applying for. And so at the secondary level, there are 6 different program choices: the arts focus, exceptional athlete, integrated technology. There are 5 international baccalaureate schools, a leadership pathway school, and there are 20 math, science, and technology programs. So again, you can choose the area of focus. Within that are the schools that are offering an arts program. Please note that the element, even though this is an application for grade 9, it does show all of the arts programs, and you can see the grade ranges where applications can be received listed. And information about all of these programs in greater detail can be found on the program website for the arts. So I'm going to look to apply to a program. So I'm really interested in the visual arts program at Central Tech, but I'm going to have a backup, and my backup is going to be, let's say, Westview Centennial. And I have a reminder that the selection that's being entered as my alternate will only be considered after all the primary applications have been considered. I should take a moment to note that some of our programs, so for example, Etobicoke School of the Arts, there are focus areas within that application. So you're applying not just to Etobicoke School of the Arts, but to a specific focus within that choice. The same can be said for Wexford Collegiate. They have sub-choices, and additionally Earl Haig Secondary School has areas of focus that you can apply for. Okay, so you'll just want to make sure that you have that information before you're going into the application. So we collect some demographic information here. Again, this information is voluntary and confidential, and it helps us to work through our seeding process and recognizing some historic inequities in how students have gained access to student interest programs in the past. The first question is about recognizing Indigenous sovereignty. First Nation, Métis, and Inuit applicants will be placed in their primary program choices. When applying to the entry grade, they will be the first seated. In other grades, they'll be seated before all others. And again, so please indicate if your child is First Nation, Métis, or Inuit. There are other underserved communities that we recognize have not been as represented in programs. So there's an opportunity if your child identifies as any of the following: Black, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Middle Eastern, a racial group that's not listed, or there's an option to not answer this question. Then there is a place for you to upload your expression of interest. While we can upload many different formats, a PDF is the preferred format if possible. And again, the samples are included on the website to give you an idea. In the event that there's an issue accessing or viewing the submission, we are asking for an applicant email address. So again, for grades 3, 4, and 5, so if your student is currently in grade 3, 4, and 5, please use the parent guardian email address. But for students in grade 6 and up, we ask that you provide the student's email address so that we can contact them directly if there's an issue with accessing. And sorry, I should use the student.tdsb.on.ca. If they're a TDSB student, please use their TDSB student email address. If they're not a TDSB student, using whatever email address we can reach them at if there's an issue around gaining access. So then we can upload the document. And again, it is our preferred way of moving forward that you are uploading. And again, a PDF is the preferred format if at all possible. We're going to upload and we're going to choose a file. I'm just going to, oh, I should have thought about this ahead of time. I'm going to choose a PDF that I have. There we go. And I'm going to upload that. And we can see that it has been uploaded. You have the opportunity to change it. So ideally, in creating your expression of interest, rather than uploading multiple pieces, it's preferred that it can all be put together into a single package in that PDF format. But you do have the opportunity to upload another file if that is necessary. Okay. If you are not uploading, You do have an opportunity to provide a shared link. If you are providing a video or audio file, they cannot be uploaded, so you'll have to do this format and share the link. Please make sure that you have made your file accessible so that someone else can see that. Have someone test your link before submitting it here. Okay. So then based on the program that you're applying to, there's some statements and understanding and consent. So we ask that students, and this is for the student to complete, that the student certifies that they have created their expression of interest by themselves and contains only their original work. If they are making reference to another piece of work, that it is referenced accordingly. The student is certifying that they're interested in applying to the program and that if selected, it's their intention to attend that school in September for the duration of the program. And understanding that should they not continue in the Central Student Interest Program, that they would be expected to return to their designated school by address. The student can then sign it and date that section. And again, it's slightly different for each of the different type of programs, but those basic tenets are the same in all of them. Parent, guardian, caregiver information. And so this is very important in terms of that ongoing communication piece that I mentioned before. And providing contact information should we need to reach out to you. Okay, so again, we'll verify to make sure you've got the right email address. And again, the reminder, all future communication will be sent to this email address. Please ensure that you're entering this in correctly. Sorry, entering it correctly. Let's be clear. We are only able to work with one single parent guardian email address. And so one of the pieces here in our acknowledgement that's important to note that it's expected that parent guardian caregivers who have shared decision-making responsibilities have come to an agreement before completing this form, and that they will agree before accepting or declining offers, because it will only go to one of the parent guardian caregivers. It's expected that that the student or the child has been involved in this and is supportive of this application and agree to the submission. And of course, they're the ones who have completed their expression of interest. There's a note about our notice of collection in terms of the information that we are collecting, the purpose behind it, and a certification then that you are agreeing to our terms and are willingly and with knowledge submitting this application. Here's the summary page where you can see if anything is missing. If there was anything missing, you'll have a red notice and you can just jump back to any particular section that needs to be addressed. And again, here's where you can save if you're not sure and want to come back to it. But again, please make sure you don't miss the deadline of hitting submit before 4 o'clock on Friday, November the 22nd. Once submitted, here is the place where you can either print or save a copy of the completed record. So you'll get to see what it is that you've submitted. You can save it and put that through. There's a place where we have an application feedback survey. So again, if you can take a moment and just give us feedback on the application and on the websites and how the experience in applying for Central Student Interest Programs was for you. This survey is completely anonymous and independent from the application, although I believe it does ask for postal code if you're willing to share that, just so we can see the demographic of where people are completing the survey from. It is not connected to your application in any way. Again, you're reminded to check for that email confirmation from hitting submit. Again, if you have issues with that, please make sure you contact your school or us. And if you have another child that's going to be submitting an application, you can click here to submit another application and it can automatically fill in the parent guardian contact, the address for you already. So you can start with a leg up for the second application that you're submitting. And that is the process of submitting an application for a Central Student Interest Program. I hope that that has been helpful. While you are on the video, I will quickly walk through. So the Central Student Interest Program website, where the application link will be here in this the green box. We have links to look at application and admissions information about wait lists. Here's where we have our samples of the expressions of interest. And then there are program pages for each of our various programs that are available. If I were to take a peek at the arts, we have a listing of the different arts programs. Here's the key to show percentage primary applicants that were offered seats. And we go into the specific program information. So there's a brief description of the programs that are offered at the various schools. To get an idea of what's offered, we would highly recommend that you're attending open houses. All secondary school open house information nights can be found on the Open House and Information Nights website. But back on our main website, I find the agenda form a little easier, you can see all of the Central Student Interest Program open house dates and times. So everything is here, and in looking at any of them, the address is provided, the school website is provided to support your research and looking to find the right fit for the children in your family. The last thing I'll mention, in some of our program areas where there are many choices, for example, the math, science, and technology programs, there's a description of each of the 20 different programs. But there's also a Google map to show the locations. So based on where you are in the city, you can look to see which program might be closest to home. In that way, to see what your options are to help, again, with your research process. So that concludes the video. Hopefully that will help and support. Again, we do have the Student Interest Program webinar that will be hosted on Wednesday, October the 30th, and the application again does open on November the 4th. Thank you very much.